In this video, I'm going to show you how to use your DJI Air 3 to capture cinematic shots like these. If you haven't seen it already, check out the short or full-length version of my previous YouTube. You'll get to see all that went into creating a drone mountain bike video, as well as what happens when you crash while filming yourself with a drone. I have a baby on the way, so I might not have another video for a while. The DJI Air 3 is a drone with two cameras, a wide angle and a 3x medium telephoto. It can fly for 46 minutes and avoid obstacles in all directions. It can take 48 megapixel photos and 4K HDR video with both cameras. It also has a new O4 video transmission system that can reach 12.4 miles. It is an advanced and versatile drone for different scenarios. The DJI RC2 controller allows you to control the DJI Air 3 drone with a built-in screen. It can provide a smooth and stable live view of up to 12.4 miles at 1080p 60 frames per second. One of the first things you have to figure out is how are you going to mountain bike while controlling the DJI Air 3. This is how I did it. I stuck an action camera sticky mount on the back of my RC2 controller. Then I connected a J-hook action camera mount to a 1/4-20 adapter that's screwed into an impact atom clamp with ratchet handle. This is going to be a long video, so get comfortable and let's get out there. First you press the home button on the left till the takeoff screen shows up. Then you press and hold it for the drone to take off. I'm recording from my Insta360 One RS to capture the sound. You can see in the footage that I clapped to sync the footage. Unfortunately for me, I'm not recording on the drone, so it was a lot more work to sync the sound. I put the controller into sport mode, which disables the obstacle avoidance. I did that because the drone flies faster in sport mode, and there are no trees that I have to worry about, just cactuses. So the first shot I wanted to show is the beautiful mountains, then reveal myself mountain biking up the trail. This is an unnamed trail that leads up to Little Moab. Let's watch the behind the scenes as I set up the waypoints. The first thing I have to do is frame up the shot. I then press the waypoint symbol, which looks like a snake just above the home button, to start setting waypoints. Once I'm ready to set waypoints, I press C1 to set them. I had practiced at my home several times before recording this mountain biking footage. I was pretty excited to get this first shot, but was also kind of nervous to see how the rest of the recording goes with all this strong wind. You click next here to set the speed of the drone. Beforehand I had tested out the speed and determined that 10 miles per hour is a good speed. At this point I'm about ready, so I hit record. Now I quickly mount the controller to my bike and hit go to send the drone to the first waypoint. I anticipate where the drone would be and start riding. Luckily, I was able to adjust the controller in time. Once the drone reaches the first waypoint, it starts flying the path that I had set. It turns out that this first try was actually the best take, and in reality I didn't need to do any more takes. After the drone finishes the waypoint path, it returns to home. I just tapped cancel on the left to do another take. I biked back down the hill to try another take. It's always best to do several takes. As you can see, I just hit next and then go to try another take from the same flight path. I'm going to speed this up just so you can see me do several takes. I tried another take with new waypoints. As you can see, several strong wind warnings come up, but the drone does fine. On this take, I wasn't ready when the drone flew over. After doing a couple takes, I land the drone and review the footage. To review the footage, you click in the triangle arrow in the top left corner to return to the home screen. Before exiting, you can save the waypoint flight path or exit without saving. You then click on the album in the bottom left to review the footage. I'll skip ahead to the next part. No need to watch me review footage. You might be wondering why the map doesn't show a satellite view of the area. To see a satellite view, you need to connect your drone to Wi-Fi or to your phone so that it has signal to the satellites. At this point I'm clapping to sync the sound. Unfortunately, once again I'm not recording on the drone yet, so it was a lot more work to sync the sound. I'm now setting up to do active tracking. Once in position, I draw a box around my body to enter active track, spotlight, and point of interest mode. I click on active track, then I click on the little man to set up what direction I want active track on. On this take, I choose back right, then hit record. As soon as I start moving, the drone flies into position and starts tracking me. At this point I stop because I think I got enough from that angle and I want to get more takes from a different angle. I messed up on this part. I thought I still had it on active track, but it turns out it was just on spotlight. This time I got it set up correctly and did active track from behind. The next take I positioned the camera to track me from the front right. The starting and stopping of the recording while also engaging the active track can be a little finicky. It's always best to start recording first, then set up the active track. I'm not sure why, but the drone started to circle around me to the front left. At this point the drone's battery is dying, but I know I just need a couple more seconds from the side to use in the edit. As soon as it starts to return to home, I cancel it and I take over the controls to quickly land it near me. I carry 3 batteries with me that are supposed to last 46 minutes each, according to DJI. This next section is a really steep climb that I was not sure I was going to be able to do. I had been riding a lot the weeks before to stay in good shape. The angle that I positioned the drone in wasn't a very good angle to show how steep the climb was. I also noticed that I accidentally switched to normal mode instead of sport mode, but it really didn't matter much. At this point I was worried I wasn't going to be able to do the shot. I struggled to get going, but I reset and I keep trying. Unfortunately, the box around me stopped tracking me and the spotlight stopped working. Luckily, the original angle of the drone still worked. I didn't make it all the way up without stopping, but I think it was enough for the edit. I repositioned the drone to get more of me climbing, but I couldn't seem to get it done. This is the more embarrassing part of mountain biking that shows my true skill level. Now I'm setting up to do an active track from behind. As soon as I start going, the box stops tracking me. The shot actually is not that bad, and I stop and review to see if it's worth using. After reviewing, I try again to set up an active track from behind, and this time it works. I forgot to mention on the lower right of the drone controller are all the basic camera settings. I'm in the Pro setting and have it set to 4K 24 frames per second, the ISO, shutter, and color temp on auto. I also have an ND32 filter on. I think these settings make it the easiest to use the drone. At this point I've reached the rocky switchbacks, and I'm going to frame up a shot of me attempting to make it up the switchback. This is an easy setup because you just position the drone in a place for a static shot. Unfortunately, I never quite make it up the switchback without walking. In the edited drone video, you can see me try several times before giving up because of exhaustion. Now I'm taking off to set up for a cinematic rotating shot that you would see in a Michael Bay movie. These shots were also inspired by the scene in Rocky IV where Rocky reaches the top of the snowy mountain and yells, "Drago!" So first I position the drone, then box myself and choose point of interest, and I adjust the speed and direction of the rotation by moving the arc slider. I filmed these rotating shots during strong winds. I was impressed how well the DJI Air 3 handled the wind. At this point, once I raise my arms, the box around me stops tracking me, then eventually reconnects.
Drago! Drago!
Here's another try of a rotating shot. Watch closely as the box struggles to stay around me, then it eventually disconnects from me. This shot was still usable, but it could have been better.
Drago! 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 Drago!
This next shot was supposed to be an active track shot, but I messed up and kept it on spotlight. The shot was still pretty cool though. As you can see, the box eventually loses track of me. This next shot is one of my favorites. I use the 70mm lens or the 3x lens, which is the button just left of the record, to get a more zoomed in cinematic shot. This time I got the active track to work from the side. Let's check it out. As you can see, the shot is visually appealing because the lens is zoomed in more, causing the background to be out of focus while I'm in focus. This is why I really like the DJI Air 3. Now I'm setting up active track to get some footage from behind. As you can see on the top left, it says N mode. That means normal mode. It's best to have it in sport mode so that the drone can fly faster. When it's on normal mode, obstacle avoidance works, but does not work during sport mode. At this point, you'll get to see what happens if you crash while recording with the drone.
Shit.
Right now, all I'm thinking is, where's the drone? Did it crash? Is the controller okay? Am I gonna have to search for a crashed drone? I get my composure, then quickly secure the controller. I hear and see that the drone is still hovering nearby. It turns out that all that happens when you crash is that the drone just loses tracking ability and just stops and hovers in place. Watch how I try to land the drone. The drone is in normal mode, so it won't let me land because the obstacle avoidance is activated. I have to switch to sport mode so that the obstacle avoidance is turned off. This lets me force it to land. I think it's a good tip to know about. Here's one last tracking shot from the side before I stop to set up for the final closing shot. This last shot is another waypoint shot similar to the first one. I choose the snake looking symbol to the left, which is for waypoints. I then frame up the start, then press C1 to set a waypoint. Once I've positioned the end frame, I press C1 again. I then adjust the speed and hit record on both my camera, then hit go, and then I time at what point I should start riding. Turns out the first take looks pretty good. I cancel the return to home as soon as the shot finishes so that I can get ready for another take. After the second take, I land the drone to review the footage. It turns out that I end up liking the first take. Thanks for those who watched the whole video. I hope it was entertaining and informative. I have a baby on the way, so I'm not sure when I'll release my next video. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more adventures.